Okay, DOM is basically document object model. Okay, so whatever HTML you see, like if you open any website, like any website you open, if I take generally this the normal website. Okay, so this website is completely a single document. You can see this is an HTML document. You will get this as a doc type HTML, and you will see this wrapped in an HTML document. Everything in with JS, you can do all the activities that you do with HTML, CSS, or HTML and CSS, and even with any other language if you want to do like PHP also you can do some stuff with JS. So advantage of JS over any other language is more with respect to the control. So what DOM is basically, it's a document object model, and what it contains, it contains like you have studied currently we have studied arrays, we have studied different data structures beforehand, like we studied arrays, we studied objects, we studied strings, we studied boolean, we studied all of them. They were just an elements that were required, they were just the elements that were required to make DOM. Okay, to access DOM, to use DOM, and how to work with it. So the main purpose of studying all the aspects, all the data structures and everything, was because we have to study DOM for it. Okay, is that clear? Any doubts? Okay, so that's if you just Google DOM, also you can see many of the articles that are present. Okay, but I'll tell you the important one. Okay, so whenever you see any document, it's divided basically into, this is the root HTML. There's body, there's head. So head can be divided into title, and you can have meta tags and everything here. They both are at the same level. Okay, so no difference between them. If you open the website also, you can see head and body compressed together, so you can see both of them. Then you have body, you can have an element, then an attribute element, and then the text inside it. So this comes out to be a tree or a structured format. So every DOM, every document object model, is can be expressed in the form of a tree. Okay, so if you have studied data structure also, it's similar to a data structure tree, but in JS you can access these using traveling through different types of values, or you can access it through different variables. Okay, we'll study that, don't worry. So what I will do is I'll take this code for example, and I'll show you what this code is basically, then we can go ahead. Okay, so basically this is Materialize CSS, one of the other frameworks that we haven't touched. So in this framework, what is the difference? It's more of a Google's framework. So other than Bootstrap, you can learn these kinds of frameworks also, but it's completely up to you. One framework for Bootstrap is enough. We have time, I'll go through this framework also. This is also a really great framework. Okay, anyone, what's the difference between jQuery and Vanilla JS? Anyone who knows what are both of them? They both are used in JS. There's something called as jQuery, there's something called as Vanilla JS. Anyone? Okay, till then I explain. This is the CSS, this is the icons, and this is jQuery, which is required for running this, and this is the JS for Materialize. Okay. Anyone who knows what difference between Vanilla JS and jQuery?
Yeah, first tell like what is jQuery?
Yep. If any of the either of the terms, if you know, that's more than enough.
jQuery is a JavaScript library, like we have libraries in Python.
Yes.
So it's used for HTML manipulations and event handling in HTML using JavaScript.
Okay, that's kind of correct. Yes, you use it for quick queries or quick simple queries. You have to directly take a program and embed it, a small script or something like that. So that's good for it. Plugins, specifically small things. And what is Vanilla JS? Any?
Sir, it does not use any libraries or frameworks.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, that's the answer. Vanilla JS is used for making various frameworks. Okay, so React or other frameworks that you see nowadays are generally built on the base of Vanilla JS. Okay, So that's the biggest advantage of it, and that's why Vanilla JS is preferred over in nowadays, and it's the modern JS framework which we use. Okay, so we won't be going into jQuery. We'll cover the vanilla aspect of it, vanilla JS part of it. Okay, so any doubts, any problems, if you guys have, just let me know. Okay, if we have time, I'll go with the other part of it also. If you are really into HTML, CSS, and JS, we can learn that too. There's no issues. Okay. Okay. Moving on. What we can do with this is with Vanilla JS is you get control over all the aspects of document object model, which is the document. So suppose if we click document, what will be the output of it? Anyone? I've told you what DOM is now. So if we click console.log document, what will be the output?
All the elements of HTML,
Yeah.
element, class,
Yeah.
object of the HTML.
Yes. Okay. So it gives you a compressed HTML, and you can look through this. You can have everything. You can access all of the elements here. That's completely correct. It gives you the HTML aspect of it, and you can even see whatever is written here. You can look at all the aspects of it. You can look through what's written here, what's in the script, what's it gives you the complete HTML. Okay, so DOM, this is how you call document object model. This is how you access HTML through JS. This is the basic aspect of it. Then there's something called as all. Okay, so with all, you can do is with all, it accesses all the elements of it, and this is not that preferred. It shows the same output, but it will give you a detailed aspect of it. So it will tell you the number of components and at what number what specific element is present. Okay, and it gives you the prototype of it. So it's an HTML all collection. Okay, anyone, what is a collection? Difference between a collection and an object, or what is collection first? What's its name suggests what it should be. Like if you can guess by the name, it's easier. Anyone?
Is collection like collection of all the DOM objects?
Okay, that's correct. Yes, it is a group of elements that represent. Okay. Yep, that's correct. So it groups up all the elements that are present, all the HTML tags that you have used, all the classes, all the elements, hashes or IDs, anything that's present. It will sum all of them together, and it will display it in a form of a collection. Okay, and at every collection you get an element. Okay, so if we access a particular element with all, like if we use,
So, like, is this collection just giving the like if it's ID or particular ID name as collection?
yes,
Like
yes, it will
we have
show.
multiple IDs,
Yeah,
so
it will give you exact ID. So if I've used a task title here, hash, it will show all the IDs for that, and even all the classes. If you have multiple classes too, it will show both of these classes. Okay, so don't worry, it will show all of the elements that are present. It's a detailed list of all the elements. With normal DOM, you won't get such a detailed output. With this, you get a detailed collection output. Okay, I think this must be little difficult to understand, but you will gradually, you will understand this what it is. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I'll take a variable and then show you. That will be better. Document dot all, and then we'll do a is equals to document dot all 0. Or what if I do 0? Anyone, what will be the output? Anyone? Guess the output, yeah. Or if I do 1. If I do 1, what will be the output? I'll give you the hint. It's present here. It's present here. Or I'll give a better output. It's present. Okay, if there's output there. Okay. Anyone, now you can see the output. If I do 3, if I do 0, then what will be the output now? Tell me. Just guess, guys.
giving the first element of the file.
Okay, so yes, that's collect. It will give the first element of the collection. Okay, so what you have done is whenever we display the collection, you can see in collection you will get all the elements like this, and you can access each of these elements like it's ranked at 0, it's ranked at 1, it's ranked at 2, it's ranked at 3, 4, 5. You can access each of them by their IDs. So if you do 1, you will get head. If you do 0, you will get HTML. If you do 2, you get meta. Okay, so is that clear? Does that make sense? So whenever you have to access head, what we will do, we'll do bracket of 1, so we'll get only head, and you can see the output for head is only displayed here. Okay, so this is how you access elements in DOM if you have to access a specific element. Okay, okay. Moving on, then we can access, if you want to access all the elements that are present, you have to find out how many elements are present in a particular document. So we can do dot length. Okay, so what length function does is, anyone? We have studied length.
Count the length of the collection.
Yes,
The
very good.
collection list.
Yes, correct. Okay, so I think document dot all. I have to do all dot length. Okay, so it will count all the elements. So yes, it shows the number of elements in the collection. Okay, so if there must be 43 when we console lol, it shows all the 43 elements, and if you have to specifically get the length, you can do dot length. Okay, so this is just one of the aspect of it, and there are many you can go ahead with. If you have to access specifically head of the document, you can also do document dot document dot all dot head, or document dot head. Also you can do document dot head. You can get the head of the text, and that will also be displayed. If you have to access body, you can use dot body. Similarly, all of this can be done. Like if you use body, you can get the body for it, so you will get the body and all the tags present here. If you want to expand it, you can expand it too. So this is how you can access body. If you have forms also, you can access it through forms. I'll show you forms also. So if you have any form present here, so you can access using forms, and you can see font. Okay, FOR. Sorry for that typo. So you can see if there's a form, it shows only a single form. That's why it shows 0. If there are multiple forms, it would show 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is the number of forms that are present. So here only a single form is present, that's why it's showing 0. Is that clear? Okay, so this is how you can access a collection for forms. So this is also an XML collection, and then we can access URLs also. What is the URL? If you have to see what URL you are working on, if you have a dynamic link or something like that, so you can check the URL also. So you can click URL and check that also, I think. Yes, so it shows at what URL I am currently on. You can get the domain name, you can get all these values, you can check, but I don't think these will be required, so we won't be going in detail for about this. Okay, is there any doubts up till now, any issues, any why are we using all, or what, why are we using length or anything like that? You can just feel free to ask about it. Okay, so there's something called as links. So links are really useful whenever you have to access a specific link. You can use links here, and it will show you all the links that are present. So you can check the links also. So it shows you the collection of all the links present. You can check either 0, and you can check a specific link. If you use list.0 links.0, you will get only a single link. Okay, so from a collection it will fetch out only the first link, and you can get the HTML of it, and you can get the I tag. So suppose this, if we have a delete option here, you can check the delete option here and modify it. Okay, so you get all this along with the HTML or links tag which we use. Okay, okay, is this clear? Any doubts, any problems how to access this? Okay, we also have something called as scripts, so we can also find all the scripts that are present. So you can see number of scripts. We have 3 scripts, so if even you can see it here, I think there are 4 scripts. This is 1 2 3, I think 3 scripts. Yep, 3 of them. You can see 3. There's one extra, I think. Why? I don't know why. Okay, the length is 4. I don't know why 4, but yes, it shows 3 3 3 3. Here it shows 3. So there are 3 scripts also. You can access a specific script if you want, and if you want to get a specific if you want to get a specific script also, you can do that. I'll show you how to do that. So you can use script scripts dot for each script. So anyone, what is for each used for? Anyone? It's in Python, I think. Most of you, if you have studied Python or even Java, I think in Java it's there. Anyone, what's for each used for? Anyone? No idea. Yes, you can try, guys, if you have. Okay, no idea.
It's like for loop, like for each we'll get the if we have multiple elements, like multiple scripts,
Yes, okay.
for each step it will display the list.
Yes, very good. So here we have multiple scripts, like we have 3 scripts. That's why we will use for each here specifically to access a specific element. Okay. So here I'll use for each, and then from the function I'll access a specific script. So I can access a script here. I'll access scripts. Sorry. And then inside this you can write whatever. This is a function code that you have to follow, so you have to use that, and for each function you will perform operation for a particular script. Okay, so this is the number of parameters that you have to put up. So you can add any number of parameters you want. If you want to delete any number of parameters, you can do the same here. So you will get lot of specific functionality if you want to add up here, or if you have to remove specific parameters, you can do that here. Okay, then we will console.log scripts. Okay, so what it will do, what will be the output for this if we do this? Anyone?
It will print all the scripts present in the HTML file.
Yep, but in a form of a collection, or will it show different outputs? Yep, that's correct. It shows different output, but it will show up all in a different output. But I think this will show an error, because the issue with this is uncaught reference scripts is not defined. Okay, so what the issue is, when you use collections can't be directly imported, directly used. Whenever you use scripts, you have to convert that scripts into an array. Okay, so whenever you're using any script or any functionality, and you have to always convert first that script into an array. So we can convert this into scripts ARR, and we'll convert this script into an array. So anyone, how to convert a collection into an array? Anyone? Now we had a collection. The problem is collections can't be used same like an array. If you try to access them directly like this, it gives an error. So we have to convert this into an array, so that we can use for each. We know for each is used only in arrays, or whenever we do when we do competitive programming, we use it there. So how will we convert this into an array? Anyone? If you don't know, just type out in chat. I have no idea. Or if you have, you can just unmute and try. Just try. Even if you try guessing it, that's completely fine. No idea in JS. Okay, if in any other language, how do you do it? If in any other language?
we like in Java
Yes.
we define like list and then because string word new array list, and then we use add, like we get the objects, like we like get the collections. We don't have collections, then we have objects,
Okay.
then we get, and then we add in into the array.
Okay.
Yep.
That's correct. With respect to Java, that's correct. But in JS, the concepts are little bit different. Okay. They are not directly the same. So whenever we have to convert to a specific array, you have to use array dot from. Okay. So that's a specific keyword. So array dot from, and from which you have to convert. So specifically we can take a, or you can take scripts, anything that will work. Okay. We'll take a because this is a collection and this is a specific keyword. Okay. So you have to convert this collection into an array, so use array dot from and the name of that particular collection, so that converts it into an array. And now from the array we will take a specific scripts.arr, I did acc. Okay. From scripts.arr it will fetch a specific script and it will console.log that specific script. You can use any keyword here, that's completely on your name. Same like parameters that we have in any function, you can modify this value to any value you want. If you want to name it by your name, you can use that. So that's completely on you. Script. Did I make any mistake? If I use script, does it work? Uncaught reference to type on scripts for which is not a function. This should work.
There will be a like in line 12
In line
and
12, yeah, you want the semicolon.
yeah.
That doesn't matter. It shows an error at line 10 specifically. It shows that for each won't be used in an array. So that's an issue. Wait a second. This shouldn't show up. For each is also correct, I think, syntactically. Dot and do well and convert it directly from here. If we comment this out, if we use scripts dot a dot no, I'll take the array. I need to take the array, convert this to array first. Dot for each. It shows for. Oh, I missed the E capital. I think that must be the issue. Did I take a capital E or I took a small e? I think I took a small e.
Small, small.
Yes. Yeah, sorry for that. And then you just type out. I didn't notice it, so do notice these small things.
Has everybody understand what is a like syntax he is writing?
Yep. Now you can see the 3 scripts. Yes. If you have doubts with syntax, you can feel free to pause me and ask me again. I'll explain.
Why he is adding this function scripts inside a for each? Do you have any idea?
Okay.
What is for each is doing? Do you have any idea?
Now everybody has understood for each. Can anyone explain what for each is?
At least everybody should write in the comment, or you can unmute.
Yep, you can unmute. Anyone can unmute and say.
Because we'll go to other functions which is more complex if you not understand these simple things.
Yes, guys. Any?
So,
Yes.
yeah, Akansha, can you just explain what is for each, how for each works?
So in for each, like we have this collection. So when the function is running, then each script element is taken and it is displayed. Like it's like the for loop for array or any data type, any other data type. Like we use for in different languages, so it is similar to for functioning of for.
Okay.
So also I'm doubt like you have used script. So can we use class and IDs? Same function for class and IDs.
Yes. You also have. If you want to change this, I'll show you. You can use dot class name. You also have class list. I think class list is there. You can check class list and something like that. I think you also get class list. You can get IDs, anything, but you have to take it for a specific element. I think yes, you have to take it for a specific element. So for first I can take ID for this. So if I do that, you can see if I modified this one, I'll take this as B, where B, and I'll print this. So this doesn't have an ID, I think. Link 0. What is link 0 first? Let me first print link 0. Link 0.
Let them.
Yeah, it's fa dot remove. It has a class. Okay, so we'll print class. You can see the class. We can see class list. Okay, so it shows all the classes that are present here. So yes, it shows, see, it shows delete element, secondary content, and the value for it, whatever classes we have used. And you can see this in same in HTML also. So in this href you have delete item and select content. So it shows both of them. You can take IDs, you can take classes, but for a specific element. Okay, I'll show you how to select a specific element and modify it. That is there in the next aspect. But do you understand this, that how we are selecting this item and how we are selecting this class?
Yes.
Okay, that's more than enough. That's the first aspect of it. So if you are able to understand, if you select links, you can modify ID, you can modify class, you can go ahead and change class name, you can go ahead and change class list, you can change all, you can change, if you have to check a specific class, you can choose class name also, and you can say the name for it also. So it will show you the name also, if you have to just see the name without a dictionary. So this is also done. Okay, so here what we have seen, here we have printed the scripts, okay, for all the elements, and running through the running through while loop, running for a for loop from all the three scripts from starting to the end. We have printed this. If we just have to print the source for it, we'll use dot source or dot src. I think there's something called dot src, or we have to use source. I think we have to use source. Let's see if it works with source. No, it is undefined. src, let's try src. Yes, so if you do src, it prints all the values for it. So whatever links you have, it prints all the links that are present. Okay, so with for each, you can access each element. If there is a collection, you can run through all the elements in collection and print out the specific ID. Or if you want to print a specific element, you can use script -0 and you print a specific element. You have to print all of them, you can do it like this. You can take a specific attribute with dot and check it. So in source we have only one attribute, in scripts we have only one attribute, source. If you have integrity, we can check integrity for all of them. If they are not present, nothing will be printed, it will be empty. Just like when we tried to print ID here, it showed an empty output. So this happens when you try to print an empty element. Okay, till here any doubts up till now, any issues, just let me know. From here we'll be moving on to get element by ID and that all. So if you have doubts till here, you can just let me know.
Sir, can you explain it once again?
Which one, this array one,
The class part. Yeah.
this class name one, or the scripts one?
Yes, sir. The scripts one.
Scripts one. Okay, so here what we have done is, if you try to print out this scripts normally, what will happen is it shows a collection of elements. But what we want to see is, in this you have to click 2 times and access the specific element. You have to look through what it is. In collection you have multiple elements present. Okay, and if you have to access a particular element, or you have to print only these 3 elements separately, we can't do that using collections. So you don't have that functionality to do. You can access a specific element, like you can access 0, 1, 2 and 3 by calling them like in bracket, like an array 0, 1, 2, 3. But you can't print all 3 of them together. So to do that, what we do is we convert this scripts collection to an array, where we save these as script 1, script 2, script 3, similarly like that, at specific indexes like 0, 1, 2. And then through these indexes we use for each loop. For each loop, what it does is, normally like what we write, we like for from I equals 0 to whatever I is less than length, and dot I plus plus. This we normally do. But what for each does is, for this you don't have to write such a long loop. Instead, what it does is, it goes through all the elements present, and for all the elements that are present, it will run this same line here. Okay, this line, and this is the parameter that is present. Okay, so in a function you have attributes and parameters. So this is one of the parameter that is present. So here only one parameter that we are using scripts. You can take any name. It's just in an array, it will take any variable name. You can use like a variable name in an array. You can use A also, you can use B, C, D, anything. But to be a little more, so that you can understand a little more bit better, so that's why I've used scripts. And from scripts I have just printed the source for all these files. So source is the link which is present here. Okay, does that make sense, or should I repeat again? If you want, I'll do that.
Yes, sir. I got it. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the advantage of using for each. If you don't know data structures, you can wait till the end of the class. I'll explain the data structure also. Okay, don't worry. Then you also have an option to print. Images if you have in the document. Currently, I don't think we have any images in this project. So if we have images also, we can print out document.images. So you can do document.images, and you can print the images present in this document. I think we don't have anything, so it doesn't print out anything. So it shows an empty collection. Okay, this is how an empty collection will look. When there are multiple types of same element, it will always show in collection. Okay, so if you have multiple forms, it will show in collection. So all elements that are present, it will generally show everything in a collection. So you have to always convert it into an array and then access it like this. Okay, so moving on, images also you can use, you can do different attributes if you have to get a specific attribute. Also here you can use dot get attribute. Okay, so with that also you can use get attribute, and then in this attribute you can specify whatever attribute you have to use. So if you have to use source, you can use source. You can write that source and src anything, but this is easier to use, that's why I've used src directly here. Okay, you can use any of that. Okay. Okay, jQuery we have studied. We are not covering jQuery here. If we have time, we will go through that. Okay, so moving on. Anyone, what is get element by id? What does get element by id do? We have studied this in previous class, so you must be knowing. Anyone, just unmute and
It returns the element that has the ID attribute.
yes, that's correct. Okay, yes, it returns the element in which the specific id is there. So we'll take another variable. So we'll take var, what should I take, var n. Okay, so we can use document dot get element by id. So it will be automatically popped up, and let's take an id for an element which is present. You can take this task title, no, this h5 tag, I think this one. Okay, we'll take this, so it becomes easy. So we'll take this, we'll copy and we'll paste it. Okay, we have to put quotes also. You can use single quotes, double quotes, anything. Okay. Now what did we learn? We modified the colors. Okay, so you can do that. You can do the same things. You can do n dot uh, you can do n dot style, and then style dot color. You can change the color for it. You can change the color to you can take blue. If you do this, I think we'll be able to change the color for it. Yes, so it changes to blue. Okay, does that make sense? So it changes the color to blue. You can do the same thing. You can modify the HTML code for it. So with JS also you can modify the code and whatever you have to do. So here you do get element by ID and you can change the color for it. If you want to remove this, if you have to disappear this text, how can we do it? With CSS I have taught you something. I think I haven't taught that. Okay, if you have to completely remove this h5 text, how can I do it? We have color, we have background all color also. There's one specific attribute which can be used to disable this. Let's try. If you do blue, background turns blue.
Easy one is to make the color white.
That's that's also a right answer. You can make the color this to white. That's also possible. I think you can't see it most probably. Yes, you can't see
But it's not correct. Anybody can inspect element and found.
Yes, if you inspect and you can see it. So there's one other method you can use. If you study beyond the books, you can know it.
Visibility is equal to hidden.
Yeah, visibility. Visibility equal to hidden. Yep, I think this will also work.
I think it's none or hidden.
I don't know. Yep, hidden. That works. Yep. Okay, there's visibility. There's something called as display. Also, you can use display and display equal to none. With this also it goes away. So this is also right if you use any of them. Any of this works. It just. But I think with visibility it doesn't decrease. It doesn't completely vanishes away. So you can see that without. But with display none, it removes the complete element. So it will remove the complete h5 element. If you inspect also, you can't see the. With visibility, it removes the text present there. With display, it removes the complete element. So that's completely fine. You can use either of them. It solves the purpose. Okay. Okay. Great work, guys. Okay. Then we also have end dot style, and we can modify the text content. So how can we change the content and even if you have studied HTML, CSS, JS, if anybody has started working with JS, this is one of the common things you do. If you have to modify the text content, so we have this. I'll move display man.
Has anybody started JS?
Yes, if anybody has tried JS.
Inner
Yes, sir.
HTML?
Yep, that's right. Arey, wow. Very good. Okay. So that's a really good thing. You can use I think you can directly use .inner HTML, or you have to use, yes, you can directly use inner HTML, and then whatever tag you have to specify. So you can change the text to, I think, task list. You will do it to task list, and yes, it changes. That's correct. Okay. There's other methods too, so you can do it through style also, and through style dot text content. I think there's something called as text content or something like that. Text content only. I think inner text. I think dot inner text. Inner text. No, I don't remember that. Okay, I think there's something called as text content only, but I exactly don't remember it. If you can change it with it. Or you have to directly use this without style if I use it. Yes. With text content also you can modify it. So you can change it to A, and yes, you can use it. You can use text content. You can use inner HTML. Both of these work. Okay. These are the two of them which can be used. And with inner HTML, you can also you have the specific, you have the rights to also write a specific tag. If you want to add a link, you can write a link here, so that you can modify even the text present here, and that you can modify the link. So if I add a link here, you can see it converts this into a link. If you hover over it, you can check it out. Redirect this to somewhere. So if I do hrefx, I don't know if this works. No, it doesn't. Okay, so you can add different elements like this to use. Yeah, if you have to do this, you have to use the tiddle symbol and write the code inside it. I think with this it works. Yes, so if you have with href, you can see the link also changes to hash here. Okay, so if you have to modify the HTML CSS, you can do this with inner HTML. So this gives you a more flexibility. So always try using this and it will give you a better output. Okay, end.inner HTML, that's correct. Okay, then moving on, uh, we also have something called as okay, always try one more important aspect. Always convert this document dot all, or whenever you use document dot all or everything like this, you should always convert this into a variable and access it, like end dot inner HTML, end dot style, or whatever we have studied till now. Always try accessing it with style. So like where we modified the color for it, end dot style dot color equal to red. Always keep this in variable. So what happens is you don't have to write this document dot get element id by task title 4 times. This reduces the amount of work. Okay, so always do that. This is a good practice and you won't have to struggle with it. Okay, get that? Any doubts, any problems? Do let me know if you have any doubts.
No, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll take a look at one more aspect, and I think two we can take if there's time. Okay, anyone, what is query selector? I'll just be back in a minute. Rudrat, just take for a minute. I'll just get my charger.
So anybody know about query selector? Yes, no.
Yes. What is query selector? Anyone? No one?
Used to select HTML like style elements, H1, H2 tags, then
Okay.
all those things,
Okay. Yes.
classes, IDs.
Okay, that's correct. Okay, so yes, query selectors is generally used to access a specific element or a specific ID. You query it and find. Query means basically you go through at a specific ID if you have to access a specific class or you have to access a specific button. In those cases, we use dot query selectors for it. Okay, I'll explain in detail how it's better than get element dot id. Is it gives one more extra feature which I'll focus more on. So if you use query, there's something called as query selector, and there's something query selector all. Anyone, what's query selector dot all?
It will select all the like whatever is in the query. It will select all that from the whole HTML file.
Yes, okay. So that's correct. It selects all the outputs. It selects all the HTML. Just with normal query selector, what it will do, it will take the first occurrence of a particular thing. So if we have a list, if you want to change the color for the if you have to change the color for all elements, so what it will do with normal query selector, it will select only the first element and change the color for it. So if you have to change the color for all elements, you have to use query selector dot all. Okay, so here what if we do the query selector, you get the task dot title. I'll display something. I'll display dot id, so it will display the id. Oh, I have to use hash. So yes, you can see it displays the ID for the task button. Okay, so here's the button task h5 ID. So you can select the ID. It gives you the complete h5 element, more than enough. You can access classes through it, you can access methods through it. You can see the complete h5 element can be accessed through it. So with query selector you get a better approach than the get element dot id, because with get element dot id you have to specify id for all elements. With this you can access classes through, you only use dot and you can access a specific class. So if I have to access collection, so I'll use dot collection and I can access all the collections too. If I do dot collections, dot collections, or it's dot collection, dot collection. So yes, I can access all the ul li classes inside it. Okay, so this is the advantage of the query selector, you can get all the values inside it. Okay, is that clear? What's the difference between id and selector? You can with id you only get all the elements which are labeled with id. With query selector you can select classes, elements, all of both of them. You can select id, classes, or even you can select both of them. Other than that I think you can't select anything else. Okay, and you can even select tags too. So we'll learn how to select tags in the next coming selector, so don't worry. Okay, is that clear? Any doubts? Or I'll teach the tag also. Okay, so if you have to select all the tags also, yes, you can use dot get elements by tag name. So you can get all the elements by the tag name. So by tag name you can select li and you can list all the li's that are present, and you can see all the li is present, li collection. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 li's and it shows all the 5 li's. So these are some examples. I'll write both of them together and commit this today's work so that you can see both of them. Okay, any doubts, any problems with any of this, any issues with whatever I've taught?
If you'll give any task, then can you able to do it?
Yeah, type it in chat even if that.
Yeah. Like if I'll say like if I click on a button, it will create one table. So can you create it?
Because you know element by id now, you know query selector, you know element by tag, everything you know. You know how to modify HTML with JS.
Can try. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Great.
Okay.
Okay. As most of it is done, so we'll give a small assignment then. So whoever is able to do it, you can post it up in group. So yes, just by clicking a button, you can try making, or you can you can make a table or something like that.
Okay. I missed some classes.
Okay, that's okay. If you have missed classes, that's completely fine. Don't worry, no issues. You can take time and do it, but just do it sometime. Okay, so that will be something new for you.
So guys, in this weekend, so does anybody want any like revision class on JS?
Or you want CSS revision, anything, Bootstrap,
Anything?
we'll take revision.
Tell us like Saturday or Sunday. If you want, we can take a class. Otherwise, regular class Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Sir, can we schedule for JS?
Okay.
On which day? On everybody should tell that you can't decide if one people say.
Yes. If
Please vote, guys. Please vote.
Yep. In group we'll post if all of you are having exams at that time, so you must have missed JS classes in starting. So we'll take a revision. No problem with that. Just put up yes or no, and if there are plenty of people saying yes, then we'll have a class. Okay,
Yes.
that seems fair, I
We'll
think.
we'll we'll take new examples.
Yes.
It will not be same like normal class. We'll take some different examples if you want.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So on which day, Saturday or Sunday?
And we can take on both. I think Sunday. Okay. CS is pretty big. Yes, we'll take it on Sunday, and we can take revision of CSS on Saturday. Suitable input.
If everybody wants, if they will agree, then we'll take. Chaya said yes. Yeah, comfortable in both. So Priya, you don't have any exam or what?
I
Sir,
think
I have completed my exam last year.
Okay, so you want to spend time.
On
Okay,
26th, I have completed.
Akansha said Sunday. Mm, Anush, you tell Saturday or Sunday or both.
I have to take a revision class of CSS on Saturday, so we can take it on Sunday. No problems, I think. Okay, that seems fair.
Has anybody has any problem?
Any
They,
issue?
if they and if any issue, then they can say we
Stay
can
here.
decide.
Others, you can leave.
Like if you will say you will